Hare Krishna. I welcome all of you to our Bhagavad Gita class. And the objective of this class is to enable reading of the shlok, to understand the meaning of the shlok, and to help understand the basic philosophy of Gita. Today, we'll be starting chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme. Yeah. So, this chapter has got 6 sections. And it starts basically from the seventh chapter. Lord Krishna answers Arjun's question. And very interesting topic. This chapter is basically the art of dying and living. And then remembering Krishna by Yog Mishra Bhakti, remembering Krishna by pure Bhakti, material world versus spiritual world, and supremacy of pure Bhakti in attaining Krishna. And then we'll end up by glories of chapter 8 from Padma Puran. Before we go to chapter 8, I would like to summarize chapter 7, what we have learned in chapter 7. So chapter 7, Krishna starts saying that hearing is the most important thing. And by hearing, it reveals knowledge about Krishna. And then he talks about the Gyan and Vigyan about Krishna. Gyan is basically all the material knowledge and all the spiritual knowledge is the Gyan. And Vigyan is his sweetness and pastime, right? And Krishna says that Manushyanam sahasteshu kaschit yati siddhe yatatamapi siddhanam kaschyanam veti tatvata. He says that knowledge about him is very, very rare. It's very, very difficult to know about him. Among thousands and thousands of men who goes for siddhi, hardly one goes for siddhi. And out of such thousands of people, hardly anyone can know him. And then Krishna later says that he is the cause of all causes. And then he says, Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, so earth, water, air, fire, space. So basically all the material that we see is basically the Krishna's material energy. And then Krishna finally says that he is the maintainer and the supreme personality. He explains just like, in a necklace, a string, all the beads in the necklace is strung together just because of the string. And similarly, everything is together. It's because of Krishna. He is the supreme. And then Krishna talks about that he is not only the cause of all causes. He says that he is the essence of everything. He is the taste of water. He is the light of sun and moon. He is the syllable Om, what we say Om in the Vedic mantra. He is him. He says, I'm the sound in ether, because of which we are able to hear. Ability in man. We see the abilities in man is because of Krishna. The natural fragrance of earth is because of Krishna. The heat of fire is because of Krishna. The life of all lives, the 84 lakhs species that we have, is because of Krishna. The austerity a person can perform is also because of Krishna. Then he says, he is the original seed of all existence. Whatever living is there, if it's living, it's because of him. Then he says, he is the intelligence of the intelligent, and he is the prowess of the powerful men. He is the strength of the strong, and he is strong, but it should be free from selfish desire and attachment. That strength is Krishna. And then he says, he is the sex life, but it should not be contrary to religion. If it's dharma, based on dharma, he's the one. And then he talks about 4 types of people who never come to him. They are dushkritanas. This is 7th chapter summary. He talks about the 4 types of dushkritanas who never come to him. And they are who? They are mudhas, who is their foolish people. Naradhama, the lowest among the mankind. Maya aprihit jnana, those people who are very intelligent, but their intelligence is actually covered by Maya. So they are the one who never come. And then ashram bhavam ashrita, who are basically atheists. They will not approach Krishna. And then he says 4 types of people that approach him. They are sukritinas. They are artha. Artha means those who are in distress. They'll come to him. Jigyasu, someone who is inquisitive, wants to know more on spiritual life. They may come to him. Artharthi, someone who wants wealth. They may come to him. And Jnani. Jnani is the one who does not have any desire, knows Krishna is the supreme God and wants to know more about him, is the Jnani. And then Krishna says that out of all those 4 Sukritanas who come, Jnani is the best. Why he is the best? Because he is the one who is approaching Krishna without any selfish desire. Rest all the thing, Artho, Artharthi, Jigyasu, they all they have some desire for themselves, right? Then he says that to become a pure devotee is very, very rare. And he says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gyanavanam Prapadyate Vasudevam Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. He says the Gyani who come to him, at least this form who comes to him, after many, many, many births, what will happen? They will get at the end of the many, many births, they will actually get the knowledge and finally completely surrender unto Krishna. And when they completely surrender to, why do they completely surrender into Krishna? Because by then they will know Vasudevam Sarvamati. Vasudeva is the Supreme Lord. So it takes many, 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 many births for the Gyanis to realize that. And still he says, such Mahatma Sudurlabha. Such Mahatma are very, very Durlabh, few. And then he talks about the Devta worship. He says, normally what will happen? People will go to Devta. And then we talked about the Devi Devta. Why do they go to Devta? Because people actually worship to fulfill their desire. All it's because of some calm, some desire that they have, and that's why they go to Devta and worship that. And once they, what happens, even when they, and it is Krishna who actually put the faith in the people for the God that they believe in. And then he brings that steady, and also the results which they achieve from the Devta is also via Krishna that they get. And then he says that impersonals are intelligent. He says the among the person who thinks, the people who think that Krishna does not have any form or God does not have any form, and they are the unintelligent people. And Krishna says that and what do they think? That Krishna, that God does not have any form, and then Krishna actually comes to this life as a person in this life, which is temporary, and then he will also die. They consider him as a normal human being, and says they are actually mudha, they are unintelligent. And he says that because they don't know that his true nature, which is imperishable and supreme. Then Krishna says that I reserve the right for revealing myself to everyone, to whom I wish to. And he says, why I don't reveal? Because normally people are in delusion. They are in delusion. They have by as such, when people come to the material world, we all are in the material world, and this material world is contaminated. Why are we here? Because we have a desire. We have a desire, so we have come here. He says normally people in this material world, they are so much engrossed into desire that they don't have time to look at Krishna. So why should I reveal myself to them? So I let them be entangled in the material world, running after and fulfilling their desire. So I reserve the right to whom I should be visible. And then they say, I know the past, present, and future of everyone. And then he says that only the people whose sins are eradicated, who has acted piously in this life and in the previous life, and who is freed from desires and delusions, only they can actually go towards determined bhakti. And there I help them. And then in the 29th and 30th verse of 7th chapter, Krishna actually spoke lot of words. And he talks about Brahma, Adhyatma, Adhyog, and that's what the last two shloks was, right? So now the 8th chapter starts by Arjun asking Krishna about those words. So now let's go back to 8th chapter. And the first section, 8.1 to 4, is Lord Krishna's answer to Arjun's question. So we read the first shlok. Arjunuvacha kim tad brahma kim adhyatma kim karma purushottama adibhutam cha kim proktam adhidevam kim uchyate. Arjunuvacha kim tad brahma kim adhyatma kim karma purushottama adibhutam cha kim proktam adhidevam kim uchyate. Vaishnavi. Arjunuvacha
Kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam.
Kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam.
Kim karma purushottama.
Kim karma purushottama.
Adibhutam cha kim proktam.
Adibhutam cha kim proktam.
Adidaivam kim uchyate.
Adhidevam kimuchyate. So Arjun, Uvacha, Arjun asks now. And the words that he's going to ask is what Krishna finished, mentioned in the last two shlokas, but he did not explain. So now Arjun is asking them, Kim Tad Brahma? What is Brahma? What is Brahm? We say Brahm, but you said Brahm. What is Brahm? Kim Adhyatma? Kim Adhyatma? What is Adhyatmam? What is Adhyatmam? What is Brahm? Kim Karma Purushottam? And what is Karma? O Purushottam? Purushottam is Krishna. O Krishna, tell me what is Brahma, what is Adhyatma, and what is Karma. That is what he asked these three in the first line. Second line he says, Adhibhutam cha Kim. Kim is what? What and what is Adhibhutam? Prokta, tell me. Adhidevam kimuchyate. Adhidevam. And what is Adhidevam? Please tell me. So this is what he says. So let us read the English translation. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahm? What is self? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are demigods? Please explain this to me. So in the first question, he has asked 5 words, right? Now let's go to the next question. Adhiyagyah katham kotra. Dehe asmin madhusudana. Prayana kale cha katham. Geyo asinyatmatmabhi. Adhiyagyah katham kotra. Dehe asmin madhusudana. Prayana kale cha katham. Geyo asi nyatatmabhi. So now, then he asks next, Adhiyagya katham kotra. What is Adhiyagya? Right? Adhiyagya, what is Adhiyagya? Then he says, Kotra dehe asmin Madhusudana. Madhusudana is again Krishna. He is called Madhusudan because he has killed the demon called Madhu. And he says, Adhiyagya katham ko atra dehe asmin. Dehe means in this material body, inside this material body, Adhiyagya, who is that? And then he says, Prayana Kale. Prayana Kale means at the time of death. Prayana Kale means at the death. Cha katham ye asi. How can someone know you? Niyata Atmabhi. And who is, so he's asking, how can someone know you who is a self-control? How can someone know you at the time of death? Right? So, Mataji, please read the shlok. Adhiyagya katham kotra.
Dehi asmin madhusudana.
Dehe asmin madhusudana.
Prayana kale cha katham.
Prayana kale cha katham.
Nyosi nitya
Atmabhi. Geyo asinyatmatmabhi. Yeah. So let's read the English translation. Who is the Lord of sacrifice?
Who is the Lord of sacrifice?
And how does he live in the body? O Madhusudan. And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? So Prayan Kale is the time of journey, basically the journey of life. At the end of life. It's like the how you have led your entire life. And that is the final result of that is your death. That's how you will actually happen. That's what this chapter is, the art of dying and the art of living, both, right? So that is the art of death. So that is the result. Your life, how you have led, actually culminates into how your death would be. So Prayan Kale, right? That's the result. So just like, for a student, if someone has worked very hard in their student life, yeah, and they have really spent a lot of time, by default they will get a nice career, isn't it? That is a result of a very hard if you have been a very good student and you have done a very nice education, taken a very good education, what will happen? The result of it is you will have a good career. Similarly, if you have led a very Krishna conscious life, if you have led a very life in goodness, automatically your life end also will be good, isn't it? So that's what it is. So there's a great king called Kulashekara. So in South India, in Tamil Nadu, there were Alvars. Alvars were great devotee of Krishna. And one of the great devotees of Krishna was Kulashekara. And he has written a book called Mukund Mala Stotra. And he was such a great king, and and such a great devotee, that he said he had all the entire South India was actually, he was controlling that. But he said, Krishna, at this point of time, I am young, my mind is under control, and I know what I'm doing, and my full focus is towards you. Krishna, please take me now, so that I don't know what is going to happen at the time of death. I don't know what my situation will be at time of death. It should not happen that I forget to take your name. So he requested Krishna, please take me as is, so that at least I reach you, right? So now let's go to the next. Now Krishna will start answering these 8 questions that Arjun has asked. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Adhyatma Uchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhava Karo Visarga Karma Sangitah Shri Bhagavan Vacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Adhyatma Uchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhava Karo Visarga Karma Sangitah.
Aksharam Brahma Paramam.
Aksharam Brahma Paramam.
Swabhavo Adhyatmam Uchyate.
Swabhavo Adhyatmam Uchyate.
Bhuta Bhavo Karo.
Bhuta Bhavodbhava Karo.
Visarga Karma Sangitah.
Visarga Karma Sangitah. So Krishna says, what does he say? He answers the first question of Arjun. What is Kim Brahma? What is Brahm? He says, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. What is Brahm? Brahm is Akshar. Akshar means indestructible, something which cannot be destroyed. And he says that the Param, that is a Param, Brahm. What is Brahm? It is basically the indestructible living entity, transcendental living entity, that the soul, that is Brahm. Right? Now the word Brahm, if you see, it is used in different contexts. Brahma could be the Lord Brahma, right? Many times when we describe absolute truth, when I've given shlok from Bhagavatam, where we talked about absolute truth, and it says Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan, right? That is, so even absolute truth is also called Brahma. But here, Brahma is Akshara, that is a transcendental living entity, soul. Brahma is the, and if we say Aham Brahmasmi, I'm sure all of us would have heard that. So who am I? I am the Brahm, the soul. I'm the soul. I'm not this material body. So that is Aham Brahmasmi. That is a Brahm, the soul which is inside our body, which is indestructible and is separate than this material body. The soul is transcendental, and it is a, what does Krishna define soul as? What he says? Mamaivansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. What is soul? Mamaivansho, it is my ansh. Soul is my ansh. Mamaivansho Jiva Loke is in this sansar, in this world. Mamaivansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. It is eternal. That is what is soul. Right? So who are we? When someone says Aham Brahmasmi, it means that person has the realization that I am Brahm. I am not this living body in this material body. And that is the realization if someone has got. That is what Krishna says. That is Brahma, basically. Brahma is the. Then he says, Swabhavo Adhyatma Uchyate. And what is Adhyatma? What is self? Self is the Swabhav. So the soul is actually spiritual, and it has been taking millions and millions of births. Soul is in a journey. Our soul, we all are in a journey. Today it has taken this body. Tomorrow it'll take some other body based on my deeds, right? But this body, this soul has traveled in past through millions of bodies, and based on the experience the soul had, it will have impressions on the soul. It'll have impressions. It'll have impressions. So something, why for a same, for us in the same situation, a person A behaves like some, has a one behavior, and a person B has a different behavior. That is the subhav of a person, right? Situation could be same, problem could be same, but a person A can react to it like something different, and person B will react to it like different. Why? Because they have a different subhav. Why? Because they have a different behavior, subhav. And how does that behavior comes? How do they get that behavior? Why is person A behaving like X and person B is behaving like Y? Because of the impressions they have carried from millions of life. Because of the impressions, the soul, so when we die, the soul, so that, the soul, along with the soul carries three things: man, buddhi, ahankar. Yeah, that is mind, intelligence, and false ego. That the subtle part gets carried away with the soul, and that has the impressions of this life, what has happened. So the impressions that the soul carry, because of which when it goes to the next, when it acquires the next body, when it takes the next body, it will have a different behavior. That is what is called sanskar. That's what is a sanskar. Got it? So Krishna says, what is adhyatma? Adhyatma is the subhav, is the behavior, the subhav of the, is adhyatma, right? Then he says, then Arjuna asks the third question, what is karma? What is karma? He says, bhut bhavot bhav karo visarga karma sangita. It means, now be based on the experience of this body, in this body, right? My soul in this material body, whatever the way I am living this body, whatever karma I am doing in this material body, all have a reaction. All have a reaction. So those reactions that is happening, based on that, based on the karma that I am doing, I will have my new body, whatever body I will acquire, whatever body I will acquire will be based on the karma that I am performing by this body, my deeds, right? So he says, bhut, whatever past karma this soul would have done, based on the reactions of those karma, whatever body you acquire, that is what is karma. That is visarga is creation. So that is what is karma, right? So we move to the next slok. So here he has answered three questions, Arjun's three questions, which is what is Brahma, what is Adhyatma, and what is Karma, right? Now let's read the fourth slok. Adhibhutam ksharo bhavah
Adhibhutam ksharo bhavah
purushashchadhi devatam
purushashchadi daivatam
adhiyagyo aham me vatra
adhiyagyo vivatra
dehe dehe bhritambara
dehe dehe vritambara
adhibhutam ksharo bhavah
adhibhutam ksharo bhavah
purushashchadhi devatam
purushashchadi daivatam
adhiyagyo ahame vatra
adhiyagyo vivatra
dehe dehe bhritambara.
dehe dehe vritambara adhibhutam ksharo bhavah
adhibhutam ksharo bhavah
purushashchadi daivatam
purushashchadhi devatam
adhiyagyohame vatra
adhiyagyohame vatra
dehe deha bhritambara.
dehe dehe bhritambara. So now Krishna says adhibhutam. What is adhibhutam? Adhibhutam is the physical nature. It is ksharo. Ksharo means which is destructible. Akshara Brahm. Brahm is akshar, which is not destructible, indestructible. But adhibhutam is the material nature, the physical nature that we see, and that is kshara. Kshara is that is basically, it is basically destructible. So the material, so here bhava, that is adhibhutam. Now here Krishna says that whatever comes to this material nature is finally kshara. It is temporary. And what happens? It has 6 stages. It passes. It gets born, it grows, it maintains the state, then it produces byproducts, and then it will dwindle and it will die. So these are the 6 stages that all the living entity passes, whether it is a tree, it is a human, it is an animal, any of this. So that is adhibhutam. They are physical, there's a physical nature, it is a material nature, and it is temporary. Then next is Purushashchadhi Devatam. What is Adi Devatam? Then here he says, Krishna says, Adi Devatam is basically the Virat Purusha. What is Virat Purusha? Virat Purusha is the universal form of Krishna. What is Virat Purusha? It is universal form of Krishna. So in the 11th chapter of Gita, Krishna will actually show the universal form to Arjun, right? So now what is universal form? What is this Virat Purusha? Adidevatam. Now what happens is, the universal form actually, whatever in this material world, whatever you see, anything that is existing in this cosmos is basically inside the universal form. For example, the universal for the Virat Purusha, when he shows its universal form, it contains all the planetary systems, the limbs. So basically the center, the earth was in his center, and all the lower 7 planets are towards his limb, and Patal Lok is his feet, and all the higher planets are above the earth, and Brahma Lok is his head. And inside the universal form, all the Devi Devtas were seen, and anything existing in this cosmic world, it was seen there. The sun and moon are the eyes of Krishna. The sun and moon are the eyes of Krishna. And then the dharma is the front part of Krishna. Adharma is the back of Krishna. So anything that is existing is actually, everything is accompanied in the universal form. Right? So he talks about that he actually displays that to Arjun in the 11th form. But why this universal form? Yeah. And so Adi Devatam is his universal form. But why is this universal form? Universal form is temporary. It is not permanent. It is a temporary form of Krishna, because this material nature is temporary. It will finally finish, and again it will remain for some time, and again everything will start again. So this, just like that, even the universal form is temporary. Now why Krishna talks about this universal form is, there are many people who don't believe in God, and then they say, prove me that God exists. Yeah. Now they want to see God. Yeah. Now how? Because their intelligence is not mature to understand a higher reality. Ignorant. So they're ignorant. So what Krishna has done is, because they can relate to physical activity thing, so Krishna has displayed this Virat form, which talks about this. For example, now if I say that this laptop which is there, it has come on its own, will you believe? No? Yeah. If I say that this TV has come on its own, will you believe? Automatically, one day I was sleeping, I got up and a television got formed. Right? Then how can we believe that this whole earth can just be born? How can we believe, as the science says, that there was a Big Bang theory and suddenly the earth, everything was that's what we say in science, right? Suddenly there was a Big Bang and then everything got formed. And imagine the perfection of this. Sun is in the center, all the planets revolve around it, and everything, the distance remains same, right? And everything is controlled. The sun rises at a particular time. If you look at now, it's a rainy season. This rainy season is also very intentional. If rainy season doesn't come, then what will happen? Everyone will die. There'll be no water. There will be no crops. Nothing will happen, right? So Krishna controls anything and everything that's happening. Entire cosmic world. He says, this material world is my material energy, right? So that is what is actually is represented by the Virat form. Everything inside the Virat form, okay, which is called Adi Devatam. Then is Adi Yagyo Ame Vatra Dehe Dehe Pritambara. What is Adi Yagyo? Adi Yagyo is basically the super soul. So the Arjun says that what is inside this they? What is, explain that to me? So Krishna says Adhiyagyo is nothing but the super soul which is residing inside the human body, which is beside the material body. Yeah. So let us read now the translation. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon, is called Adideva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as a super soul, in the heart of every embodied being, called Adhyagna, the Lord of sacrifice. Right? So this finishes the first section where Arjun asked him 8 questions. He has answered the 7th question. Now from 8.5 onwards, the entire chapter is on death, the journey time, right? So let us go to the next section, remembering Krishna at the time of death. That's a question that Arjun has asked. So let's read the fifth shlok. Antakale cha mameva Smaran muktva kalevaram Yah prayati samadbhavam Yati nastyatra sanshayah Antakale cha mameva Smaran muktva kalevaram Yah prayati samadbhavam Yati nastyatra sanshayah. Mataji.
Antakale cha mam eva.
Antakale cha mameva.
Smaran mukta kevalam.
Smaran muktva kalevaram.
Yat prayati samadbhavam.
Yah prayati samadbhavam.
Yati nasti yatra samasayam.
Yati nastyatra sanshayah. Now Krishna says, Antakale cha mameva. Antakale is at the time of death, at the time of living. Cha mam eva. Mam is only mine. Eva is only mine. Smaran. Smaran means remembering. Smaran means remembering. Smaran muktva. Leaves. What leaves? Kalevaram. Kalevaram is this body. Kalevaram is the body. So antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Those who leave this material body while dying, they take, remembering me, they leave the body. Yah prayati samadbhavam. What will happen? For sure, they will achieve madbhav. They will achieve me. They'll achieve my nature. Yati nastre sanshaya. There is no sanshaya. There is no doubt about it. Okay? Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Those who, let's read the English translation, and whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. Right? So this is called. So now here, how to leave the body? If you want to go to Krishna, achieve Krishna, we have to remembering him. And that is the final result, final thing. And how is it? And how can we achieve that?
Practicing.
Absolutely, practicing. It means our whole life we should have practiced it, right? It is not possible that in the end, I will just remember Krishna and I'll go. Whatever you say, whatever you think, I've told my friend to remind me when I'm dying to Krishna, and I will. It's not possible. Because when you are dying, if you have not lived a right life, when you're dying, it's said that your throat, it's all mucus, everything is stuck there. And the pain that happens is as if thousands of scorpions have bit you. You are in that much pain. Yeah. And in that condition, you cannot remember Krishna. You cannot, it's very difficult. You can't think because you are struggling with the pain and your thing, right? So how can you remember that? Yeah. So Krishna says, The art, the result, just like for a student, what happens? A student who has been regularly studying and has been working hard regularly, what will happen at the end? Will have a good result. Yeah, will have a good result. Yeah. Someone who has not done the studies, even if you give a question paper to him an hour back and say you write the exam, will fail because he doesn't know what is there. He doesn't know, he or she doesn't know what is there. So even if you give the question paper at the last moment, that person cannot perform because doesn't know. So the art of leaving the body is actually the way we live our life. If our life is Krishna conscious, if our life is in the mode of goodness, if we have been living with Krishna in the center and we have doing, does that mean that we don't do anything but just remember Krishna? No. Krishna says do all your work, do everything, but keep your consciousness should be mine. It means think of me. Whatever work you are doing, deliver, give it to me, just offer it to me. Everything and anything and everything that we live in our life, we can actually live with Krishna in our with center. So Krishna says, live a Krishna conscious life so that it's very easy for you. In the end, automatically by default, Krishna will be with you because that's what is you have lived always, right? So Krishna will actually remember Krishna and also leave, and you'll achieve my abode, right? So that's what he says. Just like if you remember Bhishma Pitama, he was lying on the arrow bed. He was lying on the arrow bed and he was smiling and singing because Krishna was standing in front of him along with all the Pandavas. Right? So for great devotees, Krishna is present there. Isn't it? So how you have lived your life is very, very important. Okay, you cannot say, okay, I'm young. Let me just have fun for 10, 20 years. After 20 years, I'll start thinking and spending more time there. We don't know when we are going to die. We don't know what's going to happen next moment. Do we know? So each day, each moment, it should be a Krishna conscious moment. And how is it possible? We have to practice. As you said, we have to practice. What is the way to practice? We have to chant. We have to chant the God's name. We have to hear. We have to be in the right association. Without association, you will never have interest towards Krishna. And your association can be devotees, it can be books, it could be your bhajans, it could be your chanting, it could be your prasadam, it could be your worshipping of the God, decorating your God, praying to him, listening to bhajans, chanting. There's so many ways you can actually live and be with Krishna. Isn't it? Yeah? Good. So now let's go to the next slok, which is the 6th slok. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajyante kalevaram tam tamaiveti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitah yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajyante kalevaram tam tameveti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitah
Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam
yam yam vapi smaran bhavam
tyajayante kalevaram
tyajyante kalevaram
tamevati kaunteya
tam tameveti kaunteya
sada tadbhava bhavatah.
sada sadbhava bhavitah. Now Krishna says, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Whatever bhav, whatever thing, whatever you have remembered at the time of death, yam yam vapi, whatever, yam yam, whatever, smaran is remembered, the bhav that you have remembered. Tyajyante kalevaram. Kalevaram is body. Body, tyajyante is leaving your body. Whatever you have thought, tam tameveti kaunte. O kaunte, O Arjun, you are going to get that. Sada tad bhava bhavita. And you will, that state, you'll attain that state without fail. So let us read the English translation. Whatever state of being one remembers,
What is the state of being one remembers?
when he quits his body,
Then he quits his body.
O son of Kunti,
O something.
that state he will attain
That's the
without fail.
without fail.
Right? For example, if someone has lot of wealth and is always thinking about the wealth, and while dying is thinking about the wealth, he'll become a snake. He will go and protect his it will become a snake and will go and will go to the position and protect the snake. Now suppose you have a lot of property and your mind is always on property when you're dying. Okay, I have this house, that house, that house. You'll become a rat in that house to be there in that house, right? Now if you're a meat eater, a drinker, you'll become an animal, because you have always remember, if you have eaten me, it says don't worry, I will also eat you. Yeah, so when you are eating meat, remember, whatever you do, you are going to get that karma that will also going to take revenge from you. So if you are eating meat, be sure you have to become that animal and you will be eaten by the other. So these are the effect of the karmas that we actually do, right? So
Sleeping people?
sleeping become
Bear.
bear. If you sleep, yeah.
The food eater.
Huh?
I mean, the food also is segregated, right?
Yeah. So if you sleep a lot, and that too at odd hours, and you are at a long sleeper, what will happen? It's a bear. Yeah. So that is
Then for 6 months.
6 months. So that is a bear. Yeah. If suppose you wear scanty clothes, you like to wear scanty clothes, you become a tree. Krishna says become a tree. No need to wear a tree. No need to wear anything. Yeah. So it's all written in the what do you call it? If you go into detail, all this, what will happen when what you do, there's a result of that is all mentioned, right? So so when you are, so whatever state you are being, for example, we know about Maharaja Bharat, right? Maharaja Bharat, he was a great, I mean, the Bharat dynasty, when Arjun is from that dynasty, right? So he was a great king and he was the ruler of the entire universe, and he decided to leave everything and take sannyas. And he left everything and he came to forest to now only focus on God. Right? He did that. But what happened? He was doing his prayers and he was doing all his meditation and chanting and everything. And then what happened? There was a deer, and there was a hunter who was basically going to kill the deer, and the deer actually delivered a baby while crossing, and she died. And what the Maharaja Bharat did, he actually took that baby there, thinking that there's no one to take care, and started taking care of the deer. And what happened? When he died, he was so worried that what will happen? Who will take care of this deer? He became a deer. And he left. The good part that happened is, although he became a deer, he remembered his previous life. And as a deer, he never used to remain in the forest with other animals. He used to always go to a rishi ashram and sit there and spend the time with the rishis, listening to the all spiritual vibrations and thing. And in the next birth, he became Jad Bharat. He got next birth as Jad Bharat. And finally, in the life of Jad Bharat, finally he attained Krishna. Yeah. So why he was called Jad Bharat? Because he never used to speak anything. Everyone just thought he is the most foolish person, but he wanted to keep quiet and remain away, right? So basically, whatever we think and with whatever we are attached to at the time of dying, that is what I'll become. So many people have dogs and they're too much attached to dogs. So you know what will happen to them if they remember them. Because if you're too much attached, what will happen? I'm going now, who will take care of the dog? So the way you will think, that is what you'll remember will happen in the next life, right? We go to the next shlok. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu
Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu
mam anusmaran yudhya cha maya arpit mano buddhir
Maya arpit mano buddhir
mame vaishyasya sanshayah
mame vaishyasya sanshayah
tasmat sarveshu kaleshu
tasmat sarveshu kaleshu
mam anusmara yudhya cha
mamanusmara yudhya cha
maya arpit mano buddhir
maya arpit mano buddhir
Mame Vaishyasya Sanshayah.
मामेवैश्यस्य संशयः तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु
Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu
मामनुस्मर युध्य च
Mam Anusmara Yudhya Cha
मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिर्
Maya Arpit Mano Buddhi
मामेवैश्यस्य संशयः
Mame Vaishyasya Sanshayah. So what Krishna says, Tasmat, that is why, because whatever you will think, that is what is going to happen. So Tasmat, that's why. Sarveshu Kaleshu. Sarveshu means all, every time. Kaleshu means time. Mam Anusmaran. Think about me. And Yudhyacha. And do your duty. He's telling to Krishna because Krishna is telling to Arjun because Arjun has to fight. So he's saying, remember me and do your duty. What is his duty now? To do yudh, to fight, right? So Krishna is telling to all of us, so how we should do? Tasmat, always think about Krishna and do your work. Whatever prescribed duty is there, even your work is like Krishna. Whatever duty you have been given, be as honest as you can for the duty, because that is also God. That is also you are serving that, and have the consciousness of Krishna and do your duty with as much honesty as you can do, right? Maya arpit mano buddhir. And what you do? Maya arpit. Arpit is give. Arpit is give it to me. What? Maya arpit mano buddhi. Mano is man and buddhi is intelligence. So all your mind and intelligence, you actually give it to me, surrender to me. And with that surrender, what will happen? Mame Veshya Sanshaya. Sanshaya means, Asanshaya means without doubt. Without doubt, you will come to me. So this shlok is called Art of Living. This shlok is called Art of Living. How we should live? What is Art of Living? Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu. All the time. That's why all the time, Ma Manusmaran. Think of me and do your prescribed duty. And do your prescribed duty with not being lazy, but as honestly as you can, with as much dedication as you can. And Maya Arpit Mano Buddhir. Give your mind and intelligence, surrender it to me. Have that consciousness and do your duty. And without doubt, you will achieve me, right? So let's read the, did you read it? You read it, huh? You read it, right? So now let's read the English translation. Therefore, Arjun, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time, carry out your prescribed duty of fighting with your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me. You will attain me without doubt. Right? Yeah. Think about the Gopi of Vrindavan. The Gopi of Vrindavan are great sages. So what they are doing? They are doing all their activity. They are doing whatever activity they are supposed to do. But their thoughts are always with Krishna. And they're not forcing themselves to think about Krishna. By default, the talk they do is for Krishna, the thinking, remembering Krishna, talking about Krishna, but they are doing all their duties and living life. That is by default, that is how, and how it can happen only when you are practicing that. It cannot come on on its own. Yeah. Why it will not come? We can't, even if our tongue is, if we are sinful, we will not even, our tongue will not be able to speak Krishna. If we can't chant because we are not pure. Even if we sit for chanting, what will happen? We'll have a lot of distractions. So we have to force ourselves. What we have to do? We have to force ourselves because we have to get purified. We have to get purified. When you get purified, automatically your everything will move towards Krishna. That is, without even you thinking, it will go. But to reach that stage, you have to push yourself, right? So that, like gopis and so now let us read the last shlok, which is the 8th shlok. So how can we achieve this state? What is the art of living? And we know that it is not, we can't do, we are not there. So what we should do, what Krishna says, Abhyasa yoga yuktena.
Abhyasa yoga yogena
Chetasa Nanya-gamina
Chedasana
Paramam Purusham Divyam
Paramam Purusham Divyam
Yati Parthanuchintayan
Yati Parthan Chintayan
Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena
Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena
Chetasa na Anya-gamina
Chedasana Dagamina
Paramam Purusham Divyam
Paramam Purusham Divyam
Yati Parthanuchintayan.
Yati Parthan Chintayan
Mataji.
Abhyasa yoga yuktena
Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena
Chetasa Nanya Gamina
Chetasa Nanya-gamina
Parama Purusham Divyam
Paramam Purusham Divyam
Yeti Parthanu Chintayam
Yati Parthanuchintayan. So Krishna says, Abhyas. What you said? How to achieve that is by practicing. Only by forcing ourselves to do it. Does a kid like to study? What does a parent do? Make him study. Yeah. So we have to be disciplined. We have to force ourselves to practice till it becomes your natural thing. That it becomes your natural, that you have to now chant, right? But you have to start chanting to purify yourself. To purify yourself, to have a controlled mind, control intelligence, and to improve your intelligence. What is the way? Because unless we chant, will not get purified, and if we are not purified, our mind will keep on going towards all the material desires of the world. Yeah, but the more we chant, the more we purify, the more we'll become Krishna conscious, the more what will happen, the more we'll be able to control our desires. We'll be able to control our desires. So what Krishna says, Abhyas. And how to practice? Yoga Yuktena. By firmly associated to whom? Chetasa na anyagam. Chetasa is your consciousness. Na anyagamina. Whenever it goes here and there, bring it back. Bring your back to and get connected. Yoga Yukta, get connected. Practice and get connected. And if your Chetasa, if your consciousness is moving out, bring it back to whom? To Paramam Purusham Divyam. To whom? To the Supreme Lord, to me. When you're chanting, your mind will keep on flickering, going here and there. Each time it goes, bring it back. And to where? To and focus on the Paramam Purusha, Supreme Lord. Yati Partha, O Partha, Partha Anuchintaya. And surely you will reach me. If someone does that, then you will reach me. So let us read the English translation. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. Right? So Krishna says, what is the answer? What is the art of living? It is to live your life in a Krishna conscious way. It is difficult. And how to do that? You have to practice chanting, hearing. So Krishna says, hearing, chanting, association, eating prasadam, yeah, worshipping, decorating the God, worshipping the God. These are the ways by which, so do different, but you have to do your prescribed duty. You cannot take an excuse that I'm doing this so I cannot do work. No, you have to do your prescribed duty with your consciousness with me and your consciousness, and live your life. That is the art of living. And if you live your life, what will happen? In the end, you'll also leave peacefully, thinking about me, because that becomes your way of life. Anything you're doing is with Krishna. So when you're leaving also, it is with Krishna. And then you will reach me, my abode. So simple. Isn't it? So with this, we'll end our session. Let us chant the Mahamantra. And please promise yourselves that you will at least chant one round And if you're already chanting, whatever times you're chanting, increase by 1 round, right? Because that's most important, very, very important. Unless we do that, we will never purify ourselves, and we will never reach, live in the right way of living, right? In the Krishna conscious way. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.